Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our session, where I'll be covering about network troubleshooting application and network connectivity using AI. My name is Yavneesh Modi. I'm an engineering product manager at ThousandEyes, leading our AI Insights product. So in today's session, we'll be covering what is ThousandEyes, give you a brief overview of what we do at ThousandEyes, what problems we are solving. Second, we'll talk about how we learn about assurance in action using ThousandEyes. Third, we will talk about how we provide assurance using AI and AI Assistant. Also talk about some of the things that's coming soon. And also, what are the models behind the scene which brings that AI to life? Also, a big topic for our customers is data privacy. So how do we ensure the right data privacy decisions are made so that your data is secure with us? And we'll leave about 15 minutes for any questions you might have for us. Cool. Jumping into what is ThousandEyes. So before that, I want to talk about the problem of digital resiliency. So in a digital-first world, delivering services has become incredibly complex because of interconnected systems and dependency on external vendors you might have. In a survey done, 82% of respondents agree that their network environment is becoming increasingly complex over 2 years. To deliver a single service, it might have to traverse your own networks, third-party network, cloud environment, and then interact with tons of microservices inside those environments. So this increase in complexity increases risk tremendously. And that can manifest itself as ransomware attacks, as bad configuration for clouds, bad software deployment, and the possibilities are endless there. According to a study done, about $400 billion is being spent by global 2,000 companies to address issues for IT and security-related incidents. And this is just in direct cost and loss of revenue. But this is not including loss of customer trust, innovations getting hampered, and also loss in stock prices. So how do you address this issue? The biggest problem is visibility. And when I talk about visibility, it's just about having just visibility into these systems, but also having data to make sense of these systems and getting the right insight to how to remediate those things. So with ThousandEyes, Cisco delivers multi-layer assurance that spans all the different vantage points across your network, which can be mobile, cloud, or edge. So you measure what really matters to you, see every path that your services traverse to provide the experience you want to your end users. It can be your employees in your company or your customers. And the ability to contextualize what's happening on each of these vantage points. So how does ThousandEyes deliver this? So we assure own networks from devices to LAN and WAN. And also, this happens across all users and services you have. And also assure unknown networks for cloud, internet, and other endpoints that might be provided by a third-party vendor. Across this, we are building an AI assistant layer which accelerates root cause analysis end-to-end and really helps you elevate your risk mitigation and root cause mitigation efforts. So why is AI really important? So one of the things at ThousandEyes we have observed is our typical user, the NOC engineer, really loves ThousandEyes. The data we provide is something they have dreamed about. But that data can be cumbersome for different personas within the organization. So if there's an app owner or an IT person, they might say like, hey, I'm getting inundated with a lot of data. Can you please help me make sense of this in a shortest amount of time? And that's where we think AI can play a big role. So it can really help you streamline your operations across your organization. And the goal is that by delivering instant intelligence, we can really impact your core metrics of mean time to innocence and mean time to resolution. So let's see how does it work. So in this example, there's a user who's trying to connect to williamhill.com in UK. And they are experiencing really high elevated page load times accessing this. So they basically raise a ticket internally and say that like, hey, I'm having a hard time accessing this page. So with current ThousandEyes experience without AI, what would I do as someone, let's say a NOC engineer, trying to resolve this issue? So in this case, like I'll start with the page load metrics and see that like, yes, in UK, there is elevated page load times. And I walk through like different metrics that's provided by ThousandEyes for my browser. So in this case, I can see that like most of the latency is actually not related to browser. So I go to the next layer to see like, hey, is there a server issue that's happening which is causing this page load time to increase? So I look at different metrics out here related to server and saw there was nothing really there. Then I jump into the network layer to see like, this is a network problem. So in this case, we observe that somehow like the traffic is routed through US for UK. And that gives us some idea that like, okay, this might be an issue. So I go back to a time where the latency wasn't high. And at that time, like it was routing through London. So that made me think like, okay, there was an AWS migration that happened which caused this issue. So again, I'm a ThousandEyes expert, so I could go through this layer by layer analysis and come to that conclusion. But if a user wants a quick answer and they're not well-versed in ThousandEyes, what happens? So all you need to do, as you can see here, is click on this Explain Selection button, and it launches the AI assistant. And what it's doing behind the scene is our models are looking across different layers of data and trying to observe what are the potential anomalies that could be identified. And once we create these observations, we put this in a reasoning model, which tries to pattern match, like given these set of anomaly we are seeing, what is the potential root cause, or what is the potential fault domain which is causing this problem. So the end result you see out here is, let's scroll up. And yeah, so the end result is a summary of fault domain assessment, which tells you like, okay, what's really happening. So in this case, we say like, okay, there's a change in path for Amazon, backed by all the evidence we saw in each of the application layer, network layer, and network path layer. And using this, like we give you not only the summary of what really happened using AI, but also what the data that went behind the scene to create this summary. So this is what we call Views AI explanation, which really takes your analysis of root cause using ThousandEyes from multiple minutes to maybe few seconds. Next example we want to show is how we are leveraging AI Assistant for Tier 1 engineers to get an overview of like what are the different things being monitored on ThousandEyes. So in this case, we start off by just looking at like what are the different services we are monitoring with ThousandEyes. And it basically looks at across all our tests that are being set up for this particular account and gives you like what are the different services which can be networking services, ISPs, it can be DNS servers, it can be applications like Microsoft applications, Google applications that might be monitoring. So next, I want to like troubleshoot I want to know, like, were there any issue with Microsoft Teams in last 7 days? So what it does is it looks at our different product features called alerts, events, and internet insight to give a holistic view of like what are the different issues that we saw with Microsoft Teams in last 7 days and give you a summary of that. And also, like, you can drill down in each of these the events or alerts that might have happened. So in this case, I asked, hey, can you summarize the last event that occurred with Microsoft Teams? And what ends up happening is it gives you a very succinct summary of like what was the issue, what was the impact on the different tests in different locations, and gives you a direction of like what should you do next about it. So in this case, it's a minor issue, so probably you can just ignore it. And then we have our documentation available to the AI assistant. So you can ask general questions about ThousandEyes. So in this case, I am asking, like, how do I set up dashboards for monitoring network connectivity issues? So what it does behind the scene is looks at our rich product documentation, technical blogs, and creates a summary, a pretty succinct summary of like what are the different steps you need to take to get the best dashboard possible for you and your team to monitor connectivity issues with Microsoft Teams. So this is kind of a sneak peek of all the things we are going to go live with our AI assistant in ThousandEyes. To tell you more like how this works, what goes behind the scene is Sila.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Yuvnesh, for such an awesome demo. I'm still blown away by how spot on our assistant is when it comes to fault domain analysis, as you just saw in the demo. Our solution engineers all have the same reaction. Lots of, wow, this actually is accurate moments. So, moving forward, with Cisco AI Assistant in ThousandEyes, and what our promise of ThousandEyes AI Assistant is that we want our customers to operate like experts, irrespective of their expertise levels. And that is what the promise that we are giving with the AI Assistant. And with AI Assistant on your side, your network engineers can now have instant insights driven by ML and accelerated troubleshooting, as you just seen in the demo, and automated actions. So that's all combined into AI Assistant today. At the core of AI Assistant, you have three large benefits. The first and the most important one is improved MTTI and MTTR. AI Assistant can process tons of data, multiple layers of data, very complex to analyze even if you're a network engineer. And it combines the deep knowledge of networking together to give you deep insights that speed up the fault domain analysis. And the second most important one is reducing your operational loads. And with AI Assistant as a wingman next to your NOC engineers, they have the entire knowledge of how to solve a problem quickly and how to access new test cases, how to set up new dashboards, all at their fingertips. This actually improves usability, and also it democratizes data insights to across your organization, and also reduces the operational burden. And that's a great example. And the third one is with AI Assistant in ThousandEyes, we provide one Cisco experience across all your Cisco networking infrastructure in one place. And that's a great advantage. You don't have to hop between assistants to get the help. Next slide. So as Yuvnesh demonstrated, we have core capabilities packed into Assistant. The first one is AI explanations that you just watched. We are taking the test views that give you the data representation and visualization to next level, and giving you intelligent data interpretation as well as faster fault domain analysis, into under a minute time frame. And the second one is a troubleshooting skill. We have 3 products, Insight products today. Alerts are driven by your configuration. So you decide what kind of alerts do you want to get it. And the second one is event detection. Event detection is zero config. We continuously monitor the time series test data and apply ML to get the anomaly detections. And the third one is the Internet Insights. It's not just your organization, but across the world, what are the outages that are happening. Suppose if you have outage with Microsoft Outlook, it may not be within your network. It could be outside your control. So how do we combine all these products under one umbrella, which is troubleshooting, and give you insights? So you could just say, hey, I'm experiencing outage with Outlook. Is this my problem, my network problem, or is it outside my control? So Assistant can give you details. And the third one is the knowledge skill. You could ask any question, or you could ask ThousandEyes Assistant best practices. So those are the basic skills that are packed. And beyond that, the main advantage of AI Assistant is it's your wingman. You can talk to the data on ThousandEyes. You can say, how many tests do I have today? And it will analyze and give you detailed analysis of the tests that you configured. Next slide, please. And you can ask, what apps have tests today? So it will give you all the apps that you're covering. And the next slide, please. And you can say, do I have duplicate tests? So it will analyze for a specific application that you're asking and see what kind of test coverage you have for a specific application. And you can see if there are duplicates or not. And beyond that, you could also ask for, do I have a test on, let us say, Zoom? Like I'm experiencing outages with Zoom, but I don't have any test configured. So let's figure it out if I have tests or not. You could ask Assistant that question. And if you don't have a test configured, you can even ask them, do I have any test templates that I could use for creating tests with Zoom? So those are the kind of experiences you can have with Assistant today. Moving forward, we are trying to pack as many features as possible, so that way you don't have to go through the documentation, click through different UI screens to create some of the useful applications that you want to create. The first one is the dashboards. You've seen Yuvnesh demonstrate asking a question like, how do I create a dashboard? You don't even have to ask Assistant, how do I create? You can ask Assistant to create a dashboard for you. You give the criteria that you need. Here is the dashboard I want. Here are the metrics that I want to monitor. And let the Assistant create a dashboard for you. And then the second most important feature is closed loop actions with Cisco devices. Today, ThousandEyes gives you tons of data, test data to, and the insights to see what's going on. But once you have the insights, you could actually interact with other Cisco devices and change the configuration to solve the problem. And you could create tests, and you can run an instant test. Let's say you have, you're experiencing an issue with a specific application, and you want to say, okay, let's run the test right now. And Assistant can do it for you. So these are some of the features that we are trying to pack into Assistant. And the idea is to empower your NOC engineers to be the experts without even having detailed network knowledge or detailed expertise on ThousandEyes. So let's go through the details of what's making all this possible. right? What kind of data and modeling do we have to do to make AI Assistant possible? And some of the challenges that we are solving in AI Assistant is that we get tons of data. Today, around 25 billion measurements are made every day, and over tens of petabytes of data is received. And we cover across wired, wireless, and also application domains. And most of our customers have hybrid clouds. They're on-prem, they're also in the cloud, and they have applications that are neither in their deployments. So it's very complex scenario, and we get tons of data. And we do massive data engineering to get all this data available for our ML models as well as foundational models. And there is also a lot of context required to make the models understand what are the problems that you're trying to solve. So baselining, like, what's your baseline? What is an anomaly versus what is a baseline differs from every customer and every network. So understanding that is another complex problem. And also a variety of complex real-time network scenarios need to be solved. So Assistant takes care of all these data challenges and the context challenges, as well as the networking layer scenarios into modeling and solve some of the problems. So you saw Vue's explanation demo, and here is what goes behind the scenes. As you see here, all you clicked is explain this to me. And then behind the scenes, we are collecting all the layered data and building a context behind how do you solve Vue's explainability in a specific agent called Vue's agent. So why we need an agent? Why can't we just throw this data to a model and let it explain? Because each of these scenarios are complex. It needs different expertise. It needs a different set of context. So we have different agents for different problem solving. And then behind that, once the query comes, there is a semantic layer that's understanding natural language. When you say, show me all the tests I have, it basically needs to know which agent to go to talk to. And underneath the agent, what tool do you need to call? And what model do you need to call? So those are all the decisions that are done. And behind all this, we have model context protocol that's deciding which data platform do we go and access this data. So we have ThousandEyes assurance platform in the real time, and we also have some of the customer data in the data lakehouse. So now the model needs to access all this data, and those decisions are done by the context protocol. And also it goes through a detailed privacy and security guardrails to protect against unwanted access and also against model hallucinations. So behind the scenes, we have domain-specific language models, and then also deep neural models that are doing some of the anomaly detections, and also RCA. Next slide, please. So I'll quickly run through some of the engineering we do. It's not just throwing the data at a model, but it's also a lot of data engineering as well as context creation, prompt tuning. We have domain-specific models, and also a lot of evals to get the right data out. And you may ask, how do we manage the accuracy of the systems? We have combined hundreds of years of NetOps experience, subject matter experts, driven evaluations. We have end-to-end extensive evals running across the platform. And also, we're in the process of applying reinforced learning as well as AI-based reinforced learning as well to drive some of the the fine-tuning data. But I want to emphasize the importance we give to data privacy and safety. Our customers' data, queries, and the responses are always secure and never shared. And we don't use customer data for fine-tuning neither the foundational models or the deep neural models that we have. And we follow strict authentication and security for every data access point. And we also use detailed guardrails and evals to safeguard the data. And that's how we make AI Assistant work. Even though AI Assistant looks very simple and it's just a textual language, underneath the layers we have a complex web of neural models as well as language models working on your behalf to control the data and to build all the networking knowledge into the system as a context and providing you a full domain analysis very quickly. Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, this was our presentation. So wanted to get any questions you have around this?
Yeah. So currently we have ThousandEyes, but I don't have AI Assistant.
It's in preview right now, limited preview right now. So you can just ask your customer rep, and we will enable it.
Okay.
So we are hoping to go GA by end of July. No, it'll be available for by end of July. So it'll be available to all customers. Other questions? Yeah.
Traffic insights, the net flow portion. AI assistant be able to reach in and look at interrogate application data as well?
Not yet. So right now, for troubleshooting applications, yes, the high-level data will be available. For the views explanation that we demoed here, right now the coverage is only the network synthetic data. So we will be progressively adding endpoint experience, traffic insights, cloud insights to it. So the goal is it's a platform-wide feature going forward. But
Run and look at both sides.
yes, yeah. That's the more complex part. Say at one side it's not easy, but easier. But once you combine stuff, one of the principles we have for AI development is that we really want to back our inferences or our opinions or what we are generating with actual data. So doing that and making sense of everything takes time, and we don't want to ship half-baked products because we're not doing AI for sake of doing AI. We really want to ship customer value. So that's why it'll be a gradual slow rollout.
Yeah, to add a little color to what Yuvnesh is saying. So each one of the problems that you mentioned is, needs to be interpreted differently. So there's some work we need to do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So in its current form, is it capable of answering standard question like, was there a connectivity problem between a specific endpoint and a specific service that's being monitored at a specific time?
Yes, you can do that, provided there is a test, obviously. So yes, it will be able to answer.
As long as it has data to go on.
Correct.
You can query against it.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And you can query, say, is there a test between these two? And if
Yeah.
you don't, you can create
set up
that.
a test.
Yeah.
Set up a test.
Set up test is coming up.
It's coming
There's
next.
more templates, right?
Yes. So with setup tests, the challenge is that it goes into billing and stuff. So we just want to have the right workflows in place that you don't want someone to say hey, I want to create a test for 5 different things and you overshoot your billing and stuff. So we just want to put the right kind of workflow in place for that.
If I have an agent on someone's laptop, right, and I have a test, let's say to Teams, and then I have a test on application in the data center, will it be in, let's say that this person's at home, they're using Gold Protect VPN, and we're split tunneling traffic through Teams to directly go out to Teams, but everything else in the data center is going through the tunnel. Will it know, because I'm using both tests, that traffic split tunneling? there was an issue, because like we just had an issue recently with this, and we used ThousandEyes to fix it. But will it know that traffic split tunnelings for specific traffic to go to Teams and traffic going to the other application?
So it should, I think in path visualization, it should actually be able to identify that, and we use that data there. I can't 100% say like, yes, it will do that, because it's a pretty unique case.
Yeah.
Like, let's chat offline about like how this can be done. Like, I'm curious, like sometimes we are surprised by the explanations it comes up with. Like the one we showed you, the page load test, like it's probably one of the gnarliest one to like troubleshoot. And we just say like, hey, like this is the most complex one, let's see what happens. And it gives like really good results there. So I'll be curious to see like, okay, like if, let's say if we turn this on for you tomorrow, like how would I have diagnosed this? So yeah, let's start offline after this.
We do this test case for the split tunnel, very traffic going into the 1000 eye will show the home network to the eyes in the hopping. It will show the direct public IP address of Teams and the ISP. For the internal, it's like path analysis. You will see your internal.
Yeah, yeah.
So we are using that.
Yeah, so I think the views explanation feature will be able to do this. The only caveat is like there's endpoints involved. So endpoints is not in the scope right now, but within a quarter we'll have coverage for that. Yeah, I saw a hand somewhere there. Yes, please.
Do you guys have templates for tests or for like a technology like SD-WAN, for example, or anything like that?
So we have like pre-built templates in ThousandEyes. Also, we have capability that like you can define a template yourself and apply it to like different services you might be using. So we have both like, ready-made templates for, I would say mostly it's for application. I'm just looking at it. Are there any ThousandEyes experts here who can talk more about that? But yes, like we do have templates.
So you can't duplicate. You can tell it to duplicate a test from this one.
Yeah.
Yes, Antonio.
Okay, so this is about AI, not really about assistant. Have you explored also having the MPC agent for the ThousandEyes endpoint? So in mind you have your own agent like Claudio or Karsh or whatever, and then you just say, okay, this is my ThousandEyes MPC agent. Just create a test, create an integration, create a string, any of those.
For integrating into customers'
Correct.
AI?
You don't have to be on the ThousandEyes platform per se. So we provide to our customer the MPC agent, so they can put it on their AI system like Karsh or Claudio or any of those.
Okay, you mean like Model Context Protocol, MCP agent?
Correct.
Right. We've been actually.
I'm not really an expert how we can set it, but this is something on the roadmap. This is something that you are exploring because this is inside of the UI, so you cannot explain.
Right.
Perfect. But
Yeah.
I have my own UI on my computer. I don't want to on the ThousandEyes platform. Is there like
That's a fair question. Yes, we've been definitely looking at it. There are two ways it can work, right? Like we have already APIs in ThousandEyes, and we provide APIs. And providing an MCP interface to those APIs, so if you are building as a customer your own assistant, that is one way of doing it. And actually, it is in the works right now. We're building the MCP on top of the API layer. But the second thing is that like if you look at the way our assistant is working, there's a lot of modeling behind the scenes. And you don't want to just get the data and repeat this whole process on customer side, because that's a lot of work and a lot of people, right? So one of the ways we are thinking is that we provide an API for you to call and send your natural language question, and then it's like an interface like assistant on your UI, but you could just shoot the question and then let the assistant behind the scenes do all the work and send you the response back to you. That's actually one of the the APIs that we are planning on. It's not there yet, but it will come soon.
Yeah, I think we want to get to a world where like you're using your whatever flavor of service desk or help desk you have. A ticket comes in and it invokes our MCP server, and it behind the scene like we use our models to answer that question, and you get the answer within your ticket itself. Like, hey, Thousand Eyes saw this. You don't even have to go to Thousand Eyes web app. You might want to go because we want to verify, but we want to get to the point where it happens automatically.
Right.
What's the difference between this assistant AI taking a snapshot for public review
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
A lot of people actually have done that. Like, it actually like to be fair, like we played with that as well ourselves. So yes, I think what it does when you take the snapshot and put it in like ChatGPT or something, it looks at the visuals and try to figure out like what's happening. But what is missing there is like there's no baseline associated behind the scene. I think what we are adding, the value we bring to the table is really the understanding of like what the baseline is for different metrics that you're monitoring with Thousand Eyes. And that context you cannot get in like a different model system like ChatGPT or something. So yes, it gives you it can do a great job actually with just taking snapshots and explaining this. Everyone feel free to do that because these are public share links. But it won't be able to capture the nuances of like baselines and stuff to tell you like what the anomaly really is.
Yeah, it doesn't capture the nuances of the deep networking knowledge that we are providing. Not just the data, we provide a lot of context as well. Like how do you interpret, what are the basics of the layers that you are seeing and what goes behind. That's what I think that, similar to when you get all the data on the API, you could still do a lot of processing, but that's like, reinventing the wheel. You see what I'm saying? Because we are investing like tons of resources on fine-tuning models with networking knowledge, with Thousand Eyes as well as the deep networking knowledge. And we have anomaly detections for baselining the service, as Yomnesh was saying. So all of this is lost when you just take the snapshot and just put it on. It could give some good results, but you cannot get it. Sorry?
Does it evaluate the tests that you're running and give you analysis of cost and what would be a better model than what you're doing? I mean, or, because you'd be duplicating stuff that doesn't need.
So cost for, I didn't get a question about the cost. Like, is it cost to us or?
The transaction that we pay for running the test in Thousand Eyes.
So I think we're not really replacing the test. I think tests are still essential. It's generating the data for us, which we analyzing using AI. So I think that bedrock of, ultimately data is really key for visibility, right?
Yeah.
And without data, we cannot run our models or algorithms. So I think like it's.
If you're testing something every minute versus, some analysis says, oh gosh, you've been, we're seeing perfect, time. You could make a change in that, go to 15 minutes, go to 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the history of how that test
see.
performed.
It's test optimizations. Yes, definitely that's in the works. We are seriously thinking about it. We don't have dates yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually one of the
it's a great
very
point.
good
Like
examples.
like we have thought about like this adaptive testing thing. Again, maybe I'm giving too much sneak peek into like some of the roadmap items. But yes, like there have been occasions like I remember. I think this past a month ago there was a Zoom outage. So I think there's two aspects to it. One is the frequency aspect you're talking about, and also there's a coverage aspect. So there was a Zoom outage, and a customer said like, "Hey, like Thousand Eyes couldn't really catch this Zoom outage," and the reality was like they were not using the template for Zoom, which had actually the HTTP server test, DNS test, and there are a couple of other tests. And it was really a DNS issue that was causing that Zoom outage. And since they didn't have the DNS test set up using our templates, it couldn't catch it. So ultimately, I think it's a miss on our part. Like we could do a better job of like, educating the customer, or like building the products that like, hey, for proper coverage, you should be setting up these tests using templates. So it's actually, I think, the question of both coverage and frequency we will be trying to solve using AI going forward.
Yeah. So the test optimizations, and also if you have Cisco equipment, switches, wireless routers, and all that stuff, access points, then can Assistant actually look at your configuration of not only Cisco equipment, but also the cloud configuration as well with Cloud Insights? Can we actually give you an optimized test suite for you to run? So those are the goals, and we will see when they land in the product.
Yeah, short answer is it's not easy, but we are working on it. Any other questions? Yeah.
So ThousandEyes is moving also on the side, like we are sending data to other platform, which they have like predictive and so on. It's also in the roadmap from ThousandEyes to predict when a problem is going to happen. I know that Splunk is putting a lot of effort now there, but I would like to know if it is part of the ThousandEyes roadmap.
Yes, it is, actually. We are working on anomaly detections and also predictions with the time series data, and that's mostly on the deep neural side that I mentioned. That's in the roadmap.
Yeah. I would. I think I should have said this before, but like we are basically at the ground zero of like building AI capabilities into ThousandEyes. So yeah, like the idea is like again to empower like as many people in your organization as possible to use this data. It should not be just like sitting with like a NOC engineer, like say, hey, this NOC engineer is the one only asking for ThousandEyes, but it can empower so many other teams, and that's what we're trying to realize with our roadmap. Cool. Any last burners? No. Cool. Thank you so much for joining us today. And some of this actually was a sneak peek for the keynote that's going to happen tomorrow and day after. So you guys got to see a bit of sneak peek of all our AI capabilities and what's coming next. So yeah, thank you again.